subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos. This is called the Hoosier block, and it's 12-inch finished. I found this block on Pinterest, and a Hoosier is someone from the state of Indiana. I tried to look up the origin of it, but there seems to be no consensus as to how it originated. So this is the Hoosier block. Here is the diagram. And here are 4 blocks set block to block. And I also found some set on point. It looks a little bit different on point. There are 5 different patches, and each of the patches have AccuQuilt dies you can use to cut the patches. Patch A is a 2-inch finished square. We cut 2.5-inch squares. We'll need 4 for the background and 8 for the main fabric. Patch B is a 2-inch finished half-square triangle. We cut 2 7/8-inch squares, cut them in half once diagonally for 2 patches. You'll need 20 patches for the background and 4 patches for the accent fabric. We are going to use the 2 at a time method to make half-square triangles. These 4 patches are half-square triangle pieces in these inner corners. And we'll use the 2 at a time method to make those. The rest of these patches will be used to make the square and a square units, and there are 4 square and a square units. Patch C is a 4-inch finished square. It goes right here in the center. We cut 4.5-inch square, and we just need 1. And patch D is a 4-inch finished square on point. We cut 3 3/8-inch squares, and we need 4 patches of that. These are the square on point, or sometimes called the square and square units. We have 4 steps to complete this block, and we'll go over those after we look at the fabrics. I'm using 1 fabric for all of the accent and 1 fabric for all the background. These are the squares that go in the corner units. These are the squares we're going to use to make the half-square triangles 2 at a time. These are the other patches that we'll use for the square and a square units. This is the square and a square unit. And I wanted to point something out to you. Someone asked me once, why is this a 4-inch finished square on point and you only cut it 3 3/8 inches? If you put this on point, this diagonal line is what you need to make that 4-inch finished square. When you put these around the square, then this is a 4-inch finished square. That's why you can cut a smaller square to make a bigger square, because you're adding these corner triangles. And then this is the large square to go in the center. We'll start by making the half-square triangles 2 at a time. And if you're not familiar with this method, a little short tutorial is coming to show you how to do it. On the back side of the light fabric, we're going to draw a diagonal line, put the fabrics together, right sides together, and we're going to stitch on either side of the diagonal line. Here is the diagonal line drawn, and then the stitching on both sides. Now we cut this in half along the diagonal line. Then we have our 2 half-square triangles. Press the seams open and cut off the nubs. For step 2, we're going to make these corner units. So we'll need the half-square triangles we just pieced and then all of our squares, patch A. Just look at the diagram and lay these out like this. Piece these 2 together and then these 2 together. Press the seams open and then press the rows together, and you'll have your 4-patch corner unit. Make 4 of these. For step 3, we'll make the square and the square units, sometimes called square on point. For that, we take the D patches and the remaining B patches, and we'll piece our square and square, or square on point, like this. If you're not familiar with how to piece these, there's a short tutorial coming up. Stitch the patches to all 4 sides, but we start with opposite sides first. I like to flip the triangle over with the right side up and then place the other piece on top of it, and I'm lining up this edge. Then I'm looking at these little triangles that are sticking out to make sure that they are the same size, and I'll stitch 1/4 inch. Do the same thing to the other side, this opposite side here. Then press your seams open, and we'll do the remaining sides next. Trim these nubs off even with this edge. And do the same thing over here. Next we'll attach the other 2 sides and do this the same way. Put the triangle down right side up and then center this on the edge. Line up the edge and center these little triangles. Do that for both sides and press the seams open. Here's our first square in a square, and we'll trim these nubs on all the sides. All the units are finished now. We just need to put the block together, and I'll put them here on my prop-it board. And there we have our block. Sew the top units together into a row, the middle and the bottom. Press your seams open and then sew the rows together. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos.